Hey everybody, hope you're doing well today. My name is Mark. Thanks for tuning in. I want to challenge you with a question today. Do you ever think about what you think about? I mean, do you ever really take stock of all the things that are rolling and scrolling through your brain? If you're anything like me, chances are you don't do it very often, certainly not nearly as much as you should. So I have a tendency to put my mind on autopilot and just kind of let it go where it will, especially at the end of a long, hard, frustrating day. I just want to check out, and I'm certainly not really thinking about at all what I'm thinking about. So it's in those moments where I'm like at a park and I didn't try to be judgmental of what the person was wearing, it just kind of happened. And I wasn't trying to replay and rework an argument with my spouse in my mind, it just sort of popped in there. And I wasn't trying to fill my mind with anxious thoughts about everything that I have to do in the upcoming day or later that evening. They just sort of happen. Because here's the thing, when it comes to your thoughts, they either happen by design or default. Most of us go to a default setting and they just kind of roll and scroll through our brain. But here's the thing, if you want to change your behavior, if you want to change the way you act and react, if you want to change some of the addictions or habits that you have in your life, it all happens with our thought process. And so if you want to change, it begins with thinking about what you think about. If you struggle with negativity, for instance, of course it begins with what you think about, because eventually what happens here will come out of your mouth, for sure. And so the Bible actually speaks to this. There's a guy named Paul, you may have heard of him. He wrote a good portion of our New Testament in the Bible, and he was writing a letter to a church at Corinth. And in 2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 5, Paul says this: "We demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God, and we take captive every thought and make it obedient to Christ." So the first thing when it comes to like readjusting the way you think, it begins with rejection. We have to acknowledge that there are thoughts in our mind that are scrolling and rolling through there that aren't from God. So we have to acknowledge them, that they're not from God, and reject it. Paul literally says we take it captive. Think war type scenario. We gotta declare war on thoughts that aren't from God, God honoring, God praiseworthy kind of thoughts. And so what we do is we reject it. But here's the thing, it's not just enough to reject it. In another letter that Paul wrote, what is often considered to be the most joyful book of the Bible, he tells us what we should do, that we should reject and then we should replace. Philippians 4 verse 8 says, "Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think on those things." So here's the thing, God has given us the Holy Spirit to kind of help us in these situations where we need to take stock of what we're thinking about constantly and consistently. And He gave us a list of the evidence of the Holy Spirit in our life: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, and self-control. 9 things. So if your thoughts are not characterized by any of those 9 things, then chances are they're not from God. We have to reject it. That's not from God. That's not God honoring. I do not recognize that as something that I need in my life. And then I replace it with something that is good, lovely, honorable, admirable, praiseworthy, excellent. Something that is God honoring. It's a challenge for sure, but here's the thing. My hope and prayer for you is that this week you would actually sit down maybe with a journal and you would begin to write down some of the thoughts that are so easy for you to go back to again and again and again. Some of them may be lustful, some of them may be prideful or judgmental or hurtful or anxious or stressful or worried. Write them down, be honest about it, because if you're never honest about it, you'll never be able to address it. But then begin to pray that God would give you the wisdom to replace those thoughts with thoughts that do honor God and do bring glory to His name. I hope that's helpful. I can't wait to hear stories of success. We'll see you next time. Bye.